Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to do an unboxing of the new Altor 9mm pistol. And this is actually a pretty interesting pistol, and it happens to be the cheapest pistol on the market today. I only paid $89.99 for this. And Demo Ranch did a really cool video of this pistol a while ago, and his video's probably better than mine, but then again, he's the biggest gun tuber, so he probably has more subs than your channel too. Just joking. He did an awesome video, guys. But I'm just going to go over it the way I do and give you guys some of my thoughts and maybe a few new perspectives on this pistol. So let's take a look at it, open it up, and see what I think. And also, I already know what the comments are going to be because I put out a little teaser on my community tab. What would you use that for? Why would I want it? Well, I'm going to show you guys the pistol first, and then I actually thought of a couple reasons why these pistols may actually come in handy now or especially in the future. So it comes in a cardboard box, and I would note this is made in the USA, which is totally awesome. I own a small business, and I love to support American-made products. So we have a nice owner's manual. A gun lock. And the pistol itself. So what is this thing? No, it's not a hot glue gun. No, it's not a heat gun, although it actually kind of looks like it. And no, it's actually not a piece of medical examination equipment. Yeah, somebody guessed that already. No, this is a single shot 9mm pistol. They also make this in 380, but all I have is the 9mm to show you guys today. Alright, so let's just take a look at this real quick here. It kind of looks like a gun, but it definitely looks unique, different than most that you've seen, right? It features a polymer grip assembly, a stainless steel barrel, and in fact, this is probably the simplest pistol that I've ever seen sold on the market because it indeed only contains 6 parts total, and one of the 6 parts is a roll pin. And I'm going to take it down for you guys in just a second so you can see truly what this pistol is. So, basically what we have is a single shot, a last ditch effort gun, a backup to your backup toolbox gun. Maybe you could use this as a fishing gun, tackle box gun. And also, one of my viewers, he's been a longtime friend of the channel. His name's Radom Guy here on YouTube. He said, you know what? This is actually the modern day Liberator. Which actually brings me to a pretty cool thought and possible use for this pistol I'll get to in just a little bit after I go through it. So with this being a single shot, it's going to have a rather unique way of loading this firearm. We are going to take the trigger. This is actually the trigger, believe it or not. We're just going to pull it a little bit while being careful to hold on to it and not let go. It's labeled top right here. And we're just going to rotate this clockwise, just about a quarter turn. And the barrel and chamber are going to come completely free from the breech face of the receiver and the firearm. So all of the parts on this are either polymer or stainless steel, so in my opinion this is going to be rather corrosion resistant, which kind of yields it to some of the uses like I just said. Actually, even if you needed to bury it safely where kids can't get a hold of it or bad people, you guys know what I'm saying. But stored properly in the right container, this thing should be pretty darn weatherproof. So we have a rather heavy profile 2.9-inch barrel, and this would include the barrel and the chamber. This is a rifle barrel. See if I can get the camera to zoom in on that. I noticed right away looking at the rifling, it does not have deep cut lands and grooves. It actually looks very similar to a polygonally rifled barrel like a Glock. I probably said that wrong. Polygonal rifling, however you say it, guys. So there's our stainless barrel and chamber right here. Here we have the polymer grip frame. Finger groove here. Integrated rear and front sight. And these sights are polymer as they are integrated right into the frame. Not the best sights, but I can actually look down them. We can see there's a receiver that I'm going to take out in just a minute. That includes the breech face and the firing pin assembly. This also includes a cross bolt safety. So like your Remington 870 Express and many other guns. Red means hot and it's ready to fire. You can see there's a little bit of grip on the grip frame here and just a teeny bit of texturing there on the front strap. This thing's kind of funny, isn't it? But there's something cool about it. 89 bucks. Ammo's hard to get. It's one shot at a time and it's rather slow to reload, which means this isn't going to be a good primary defense gun, right? But it makes it where you could have fun plinking and saving some ammo. So before I take it apart, I'm going to show you guys how this thing works, and it's pretty darn simple. Now this is chambered in 9mm, 9x19. This is a realistic snap cap. Other words, dummy round. There's a piece of rubber where the primer would be, and there's no powder in here, so this round cannot fire. You're just going to simply see there's a groove here in the top of the breech face. We're going to take the extraction rim of the round, just guide it in there. Seems that if I pull the trigger down just a teeny bit, it helps. This is brand new. Okay. So as goofy as that looks, right there, guys, that is how you load this firearm. Now, be very careful. Do not pull this trigger. I have it on safe right now. Do not pull this trigger, okay, while this round's loaded, because as you saw in the demo ranch video, it will actually fire. With the safety on here, it's not going to allow the firing pin to go back far enough, so just be very careful with this. This could fire. It's going to rupture the case, and that would not be a good idea. So, with the round loaded, we're just going to take this that is marked top, line it up with the groove right here. There's a little locking lugs on both sides and two corresponding lugs inside the chamber. We're just going to load it like that, push in, and turn counterclockwise a quarter turn. We're now seated in place. It will not remove unless or until you pull the trigger slightly. We also have the safety on, so I'm going to take the safety off. And the trigger. This is the weird part. Unlike most firearms where you pull the trigger back and you hear a click, this is not doing that. Instead, how this works is basically by pulling the trigger back and suddenly releasing it forward, sending the firing pin forward, and if this was a real round, igniting the round. Now you're also going to notice on the grip frame, there is a slight slope here, whereas you pull back on this, it's going to kind of basically, your finger's going to ride down here, and it's going to just basically guide your finger off of the trigger, forcing it to go forward. So we see it has a polymer trigger shoe, if you want to call it that, with some texturing right there. So we're just going to keep pulling until it slips off, which is kind of weird to get used to. And what I'm noticing already is if I grip this like a normal pistol and I try to pull the trigger, my middle finger actually kind of stops my finger. So I think the way I'm going to shoot this, and I'll try it at the range so I can still get a full grip, because I could fire like this, just have two fingers on the pistol, pull, and snap it that way, but that's not very comfortable, and I think this is going to have a decent amount of recoil. So here's how I'm going to choose to hold it. Just like this. Okay, I'm going to keep my normal firing trigger right here. I'm going to hold it like a revolver, okay? And I'm going to come over here with my left trigger finger, and that seems to be very comfortable, guys. So can you see how I'm doing that there? So you're basically just doing a snap effect. You're pulling back and letting it snap forward. And I can feel the firing pin hitting that silicone rubber primer pocket in the snap cap right now. So there you go, single shot. Shots fired. You're basically going to just slightly pull the trigger forward, turn the barrel, remove the barrel from the firearm. This would have been fired by then. You're going to remove. Reload. Again, do not pull the trigger with real ammunition like this, okay? It could definitely go off. Alright, so this thing's actually pretty darn lightweight, believe it or not. It weighs in at like 10.5 ounces, which is actually not bad, especially with this fairly heavy duty barrel. But there's not a whole lot to this gun, so 10.5 ounces. You can see it's a takedown, so you can see how easily this could be stored or concealed in two pieces. just like this. You could imagine the different small containers you could put this in, compartments in your tackle box, whatever, right? So I'm going to take this apart right now. I have a 1/8 inch punch, roll pin punch, a little hammer, and one of these Wheeler bench blocks that I really like. And I'm going to do it just off of camera, just in case, because I know Susan doesn't care for certain activities on camera, so we're not going to show that in the video here, guys. But I'm literally just going to be taking this roll pin. You can tap it out either left or right. It doesn't matter, okay? So, as I drop the roll pin down on the ground, I'll grab that for you guys real quick here. Alright, so I just basically drove the roll pin out of the little hole. Real easy. Like I said, it doesn't seem to matter which way you do it, but I drove that out. And immediately, under pressure, it didn't go flying out or anything. It just released the receiver, the firing pin spring, and the firing pin trigger assembly. So this is your receiver. This is the serialized part. This is legally the firearm, okay? This is going to contain the housing for your firing pin and trigger assembly, your trigger pin, and also your bolt face or breech face. This isn't really a bolt. It's just a receiver, guys. This is a weird setup because this is a single shot, right? But this is the firearm legally, right here. If you were to buy this off somebody and get it shipped, it would have to go to an FFL. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, this is actually not the firearm. This is simply just a grip. It's not a receiver. You can see there's a window here to comply with ATF specification for having a serialized firearm that's visible. So, there you go. And your safety's housed here, right? And your sights, and of course the grip. This weighs practically nothing, but it is made out of a high quality fiberglass reinforced nylon, so pretty nice nylon polymer compound. Now here's your firing pin trigger assembly. This is the trigger that extends down below the grip frame. It has a stainless steel firing pin here and a bolstered back plate that the spring is going to rest up against as it goes inside of the receiver, right? So there's a groove here in the bottom. You're just going to simply put the firing pin / trigger in here. Okay. And there you go. All this is doing, guys, is this is going to have pressure on it from the frame. You're just pulling this back. And when you let go of it, the spring's going to send it forward, allowing the firing pin to strike the primer with force. That's literally how this thing works. Just pretend my finger is the back of the grip frame, and you've just seen the whole operation of the firearm right here, just like that. So I would note this seems pretty heavy duty by the weight of this firing pin trigger assembly. I believe that this is a solid piece of steel. It looks like it is impregnated within the polymer, so I assume the liquid polymer is molded around this. So this is considered one part here, 2 parts, 3 parts, 4, 5, and 6. So it technically has 6 parts, but if you don't count this little spring and pin, there's really only 4 main components to this firearm. And you can see how easily this thing takes down. Now, as I mentioned earlier, my friend said this reminded him of the modern day Liberator. So let's get to that and what a possible use could be for this. Now again, you could use this as your backup pistol, or maybe your backup to your backup, because I don't really know. I mean, obviously it might be better than a sharp stick, but I can't see a scenario where I would carry this as my EDC. Don't even know if I carry it as my house or shotgun or personal protection gun. Probably nothing like that, right? Because it's just one shot and it loads about as quickly, maybe a little quicker than the average muzzle loader, right? So I'm probably not going to use it for that. But as an extra gun that you just want to stash around somewhere, right? I'm putting it back together right now, guys. It's real easy. it would be good for that. So tackle box gun, glove box gun, things like that. But the whole idea of it being a modern day Liberator pistol, and we're right back together right now, guys. So we're going to go ahead and, well, we'll pretend this is the snap cap still. We'll pretend this is real ammo. We're going to get this thing loaded up in case we have some kind of crazy invasion while I'm filming this video. Safety's on. Ready to be fired. I'm going to do a shooting video. We'll see the best way to hold this and shoot it, guys. It's a little unconventional, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know. But anyways, the concept of a Liberator pistol. So if you guys remember, back in the day, World War II, United States, Europe, there was friendly allies and people that needed our help trapped behind enemy lines. Let's say namely Germany. So the United States came up with a concept as part of the Allied, mission there to make these little Liberator pistols. And I wish I had one, but even though they were kind of disposable guns and distributed by the hundreds of thousands, maybe it was millions, you historians will have to correct me. I do these videos unscripted. They dropped them like in parachutes all over these little villages in Germany and other places to where just the regular old civilians could find these. And they would give them a couple rounds of ammunition in the grip. And these were basically just little single shot, semi-disposable 45 ACP. But what the Liberator was for was a couple things. In the case of World War II, if a German were to come to their home, they could have a last-ditch effort pistol to get off that one shot, right? To try to save themselves, to escape or retreat or whatever. Or, quite frankly, to maybe catch up to and surprise a German guard, use their Liberator to overcome, and then they could maybe have a K98 Mauser or a Sturmgewehr or whatever that German happened to be holding. So that was the concept. Just a little one shot, quick and dirty, take care of a imminent threat, or in times of war to maybe conquer the enemy and take their weapons. Now you're armed with something you could actually use. Now this is a scenario that I'm going to give from a fictional standpoint because this isn't the case, but a lot of you guys talk about it possibly hitting the fan here soon. I hope it doesn't, but in case it did, let's just say we got invaded by the Chinese, or even worse, we got invaded by attack llamas, okay? Now, I would be fine because this channel and this shop here has Lami, who's a fierce fighter and defender of both me and this shop, and the channel, by the way. But maybe you don't have your own personal bodyguard, and the attack llamas are trying to take away all of our rights, trying to take away our country as we know it, and they're coming door to door, right? You guys see what I'm saying now about the concept of a modern day Liberator? Now these are 80 bucks. I just bought this a couple weeks ago, okay? It may be sold out right now. They're coming back. Gun buying's crazy right now, guys. But still 80 bucks. So, maybe good people that you know, that you could train how to use this easily. It's only got a couple parts. The manual of arms are very easy. There's really nothing for it to jam. It's very weather resistant. Instead of buying them one Glock for $560, right? You could buy 7 of these for the same 560 bucks and possibly arm people in the same way that the Allied, the friends of the Allies that were trapped behind enemy lines were armed by the Liberator pistol, and then they could use this to either A, escape and live another day, or B, to overcome the attack llama and take its more sophisticated weapon and then use that later. So what do you guys think? Seriously, I know some of you guys are going to joke around about this, and I know it's not for everyone, and you guys can joke around all you want. I do read all the comments, but I think this is actually an interesting concept when you look at it from that standpoint. A lot of you guys, it's hard to be able to afford a pistol, but for everybody that you know, or your closest loved ones, or friends, or whatever you're going to have that you might need to organize with, in a maybe a militia or a makeshift type fashion when the attack llamas do try to take over the United States. So I can see using it for that. Single shot to maybe overcome the llama and get its more sophisticated weapon, like its M4 or whatever else it may be using, or its Chinese Type 81 rifle, right? Things like that, depending on what the invading llama would be, whether it was of American variety Whether it wore a blue helmet or whether it was Chinese, you might need to use something like this to defend yourself. In a completely defensive way, of course, because this channel is all about defense and never anything offensive, but I don't know. These could be stashed, these could be stored, things like that. The price is right. But in the meantime, might be a fun little range toy too, just to take out and plink with. Ammo's hard to get, it's expensive. I couldn't imagine going through 50 rounds of this really in a range session. And if you did, it would be a nice long range session, you know, just click, release, bang. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying. Nice and laid back. Maybe you'd have a little fun. You know what else this might be good for? To carry as a sidearm when you're deer hunting. It's real small. It's real easy to stow away. A lot of times it's raining when you're hunting, right? And you don't want a good firearm to get destroyed. Well, this is cheap. It's durable. It's made out of nylon, polymer, and stainless. Sometimes you never want to. We all try to take humane shots, but sometimes the deer was just badly wounded. You track it for a while, and it's still laying there breathing, and its death is imminent, right? You're not going to save it at that point, but nobody wants to watch the poor thing suffer. You just want to take a humane kill. So maybe one of these right to the head to dispatch the wounded animal might be a good idea, right? Could also be, in certain cases, a last-ditch effort if you had a, rabid coyote or something that approached you, and for whatever reason it was just too close to you to get your long gun aimed up. You may have this just sitting there in your pocket handy. Pull it out at very close range. You're probably not going to miss with it. And 2.9-inch barrel 9mm is effective against many and most animals. Probably maybe not a huge grizzly bear, but you guys know what I'm saying. So this would be good as a little backup / humane dispatching gun for deer hunting and otherwise. If you're a farmer and you need to, put down one of your cows, it might be good for that. Just things like that, you know what I mean? Or if you're using this as a slaughter gun, I hear they use these as slaughterhouse pistols, something similar to this. I know a lot of slaughterhouses use a bolt gun that actually fires a bolt through, but people doing it the more conventional method may find this useful too. So yeah, in conclusion, guys, it's real basic. It's 6 parts total, including the roll pin. Made in the USA. I like the fact that it's durable. I like the idea of this possibly being a modern day Liberator type pistol, or tackle box, or glove box, or like I said, backup hunting pistol, things like that. Let me know what you guys think of these. Like I said, I bought it just a couple weeks ago for 80 bucks. They also make this in 380, and I'm going to take it out and do a review on it again at the range very soon. Alright, I had fun doing this review. I think it's pretty cool. Definitely know I'm going to get some interesting comments on this, but I'd be interested just to see some of your ideas though. You guys usually come up with pretty good things, and you guys are usually pretty smart, you know? For YouTube viewers, you guys ain't bad. I like you guys. Alright. Altor 9mm. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.